Hi guys, my name is Hallie and I'm going to lead you through a really short but really effective wrist mobility session. So this is something that you can do before any type of workout, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of planks on your hands, handstands, inversions, anything where you're putting pressure on your wrist in wrist extension. This is great to do. Okay, so we're going to get started with some wrist cars. So these are controlled articular rotations of your wrist joint. We're going to do one hand, one wrist at a time. So you can sit however you'd like, but just try to have a nice tall posture. We're going to bring the elbow into the side of the rib cage up the side here, trying to lock that in place, brace your abs, make sure the elbow doesn't move, and you're going to start with your palm facing in toward you, thumb up toward the ceiling. Now you're going to take your opposite hand, place it on your forearm to help lock that in place and pull that top arm into your body as well. Now from here, we're going to go into a nice big rotation of the wrist joint, trying to just move from the wrist, not the forearm or upper arm. So you're going to start by pulling your thumb up toward the ceiling. And then once you can't pull it any further up toward the ceiling, you're going to circle the thumb in, getting into wrist flexion. Now start to really crease that wrist and then pull pinky down toward the floor. And then circle that pinky out away from your body. And then keep pulling that pinky out as you start to pull the thumb up toward the ceiling. You're going to get your wrist extension. And then you're going to pull all the way back up to where you started with the wrist in neutral, thumb facing up toward the ceiling. Okay, and now we're going to do one more in that direction. So thumb creases in and up. Then start to fold into your wrist flexion, bringing the palm toward you. Try not to bend at the fingers. Then go pinky down toward the floor. Reach that pinky out and back, driving the heel of the palm forward as you pull the palm toward the side of your body, and then start to circle all the way back up toward the ceiling with your thumb crease reaching in and up. Good. Come to center. Now we're going to reverse for 2 rounds. So you're going to go thumb up toward the ceiling again, and then start to reach back into wrist extension. Once you can't get any further into wrist extension, go pinky down toward the floor, really isolating just the wrist joint. Start to get into your wrist flexion, and then start to pull the thumb all the way back up toward the ceiling. Good. One more time in that direction. Palm goes back into your wrist extension. Pinky reaches down. Circle that pinky down as far as you can and across toward the midline of your body, and then start to pull the thumb all the way back up toward the center of your rotation, and rest that side. Okay, shake that out. We're going to do the opposite side, 2 in each direction. So find that same position where you're pulling your bent arm into your body, into the rib cage. Top hand is going to close on top of the forearm. Pull the rib cage in, brace your body, find some tension. And then you're going to go thumb up toward the ceiling. So you're laterally flexing your wrist. Then start to circle that thumb forward, getting into your wrist flexion. Try not to bend at the fingers and the knuckles. And then start to circle your pinky down, pulling your pinky all the way back into your wrist extension. And then keep rotating till you get back to the top. Okay, and then one more in that direction. Thumb goes in and across, pinky goes down, keeping tension in the hands, splaying the fingers open to help keep everything active. Get into that wrist extension, and then thumb goes all the way back up to the top center. Find that alignment with your palm and wrist. And now reverse. Keep pulling your thumb up toward you, and then pull the palm back into your wrist extension, and then pinky goes down toward the floor. Keep pulling that pinky down toward the floor, toward your legs as you sweep into your wrist flexion, and then pull thumb back up toward the ceiling. And we've got one more rep in that direction. Just trying to make it nice and smooth. These rotations, you just try to work with as much range of motion as you can while keeping the rest of the arm stable. Good, guys, almost there. Just pull your thumb all the way back up to the top center and rest. Nice. Shake that out. Awesome. Next, we're just going to go into some active range holds of wrist extension and wrist flexion with your arms straight out in front of you. So think about bracing your abs, keeping some tension in your legs, almost like you're trying to zip in and up from the bottom and pelvic floor, squeezing your glutes. Okay, rib cage down. Now bring your palms out in front of you And you're gonna start in wrist extension here, splaying your hands open as much as you can. Wrist is in line with your shoulder. And I want you to try to actively pull your hands toward you, the backs of your hands, as you drive the heel of your palm forward and hold for 3, 2, 1. Now slowly start to push the front of your palm down through center and then get into your maximum wrist flexion. So fingers go down to the floor, really hi Matcha, really stretching the top of your wrist and hold. 3, 2, 1. Good. Keep going through center, making the transition as smooth as you can, keeping tension in your arms as you do this. Heel of the palm drives forward. Try to really pull the hands back toward you as you drive the heel of the palm forward. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Slowly press back down into your wrist flexion, making sure again that we're not bending at the knuckles and the fingers. We're keeping the fingers straight. Good. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. We got one more time in each direction, just going into that wrist extension, trying to actively pull the fingers back toward us and splay them open for 3, 2, 1, and then slowly transition through center into your wrist flexion. Get as much range as you can, keeping the elbows straight. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Shake that out. Nice. Hi, Matcha. Yeah. She wants some attention, so she might come in and out of frame. Okay, guys. So next what we're gonna do is get into this collapsed quadruped position with our heels on our butt, and we're gonna do a wrist extension, pail, and rail to finish here. So for our wrist extension, pail, and rail, we're gonna set our hands shoulder width distance apart, spread our fingers on the ground, and slightly grip all 10 fingertips into the mat. You want to externally rotate through your shoulders, so the eye of the elbow is going to rotate forward, bicep rotates forward. Now from here, first we're going to find our passive range and start to lean forward into that passive wrist extension, loading our wrists as much as we can. So I'm pulling my rib cage in and up away from the floor, bracing my abs, and trying to bring my shoulders as far forward as possible. Good. Now you can curl your toes under. I like to do that just to help balance my body. We're gonna hold here for a few more seconds, just breathing into this passive stretch, trying to keep the heel of my palm grounded into the floor as I reach and incline forward. Good, guys. Now from here, I'm just gonna come back about 2 inches maybe, so a little less range, and that's where we're gonna do our pail and rail. So our pail is gonna be pushing the front half of our palm down into the floor as if you're trying to move into wrist flexion, but the floor is blocking you. So it's as if you're trying to straighten out your wrist and push your fingers down through the floor, and you're gonna keep actively pushing that down without lifting the heel of your palm. Good. Get to about 50% of your maximum push and keep pushing out of your scaps and shoulders. We're gonna hold here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the push. Now try to lift the front half of your hand up off the ground, keeping the heel of the palm grounded into the floor. Try to lift all 10 fingers and get a little bit of space. Here we go. Hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax that lift. Stay in this position or lean a little bit forward if you can. Good. Let's just hold the passive stretch here again. Keep pushing out of the floor. Rib cage stays pulled in and up. Abs are firm. Take a few more breaths here in the stretch. We're going to do one more round of the pail and the rail. So our pail again is pushing down into the floor. It's as if we're trying to straighten out our wrists, but the floor is blocking us. Okay? So here we go. Start to press down firmly with your fingers, and especially the knuckles and the front half of your hand are pressing down firmly into the floor. Good. Keep holding that push down. Get to at least 50%. If you can ramp it up to your 75%, go for it. We're going to hold that push for 10 more seconds. Pushing down into the mat. Keeping those elbows straight, shoulders protracted. Keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the push. Now try to lift. Even if you don't get any lift actually up off the ground, keep trying. You might feel all of this in the front of your forearms and your wrists. Lots of tension there. Keep holding, keep lifting for 5, 4, 3, 1, and release. Slowly, slowly come back out of the position and slowly lengthen your wrists. Shake those out. Nice. That was awesome. Your wrists are now really warmed up and ready for loading them, right? Loading them with your body or with weight. Just make sure you do this mobility routine for your wrists before you're gonna go, especially into something like a handstand practice. We wanna make sure that we properly load and mobilize our wrists in an active way rather than just doing things like a passive stretch. You know, passive stretches are great for getting into passive range of motion. That's of course necessary, but then we need to learn how to activate in those end ranges and control them, okay? So, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for tuning in, and check out my other videos for some awesome mobility routines, some ab workouts, animal flow, kettlebell stuff. We have a bunch of things, so check out our channel, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.